All right, and welcome to History of the World. My name is Mr. Layton or Coach Layton, whichever you prefer to call me. And I am your either your sixth grade social studies teacher or your seventh grade social studies teacher. I'm going to walk you through a little bit here of kind of how our class works and some expectations for this school year. All right, and here's a list of some things that you're going to need for either sixth grade social studies or seventh grade social studies. Every day, you're going to need something to write with and something to write on. And it says most every day, but pretty much plan on having something to write with and something to write on. Some days we will be more high tech and you may not use your pen or a piece of paper. Your textbook. But here's the great news. You don't have to lug it around everywhere. It's going to stay here in the classroom. However, you will have access to an online textbook. And I'm going to spend some time in the first few weeks showing you how we use that online textbook. I'd also ask for a spiral bound notebook or a composition notebook for social studies specifically. This year, our social studies classroom will be a little bit different. It's going to be very interactive. We're going to study history together. We're going to be doing activities where you're going to become the historian, where you're going to look at the people, the places, the events, the civilizations that we're going to cover, both in sixth grade or if you're in my seventh grade social studies class. We're going to use a lot of technology over the course of the year. We're also going to learn about some of the greatest cultures in the history of the world. The two big goals for this first lesson for you to pick up on is I want us to be creative as individuals, but also in a collaborative efforts. We're going to work on building some teamwork skills, putting things together in our class. All right, so what type of technology will we use? Well, here's a list of just a few apps and resources that we'll be using. I'll go into a little bit more detail later on about Edmodo and Google Drive and how we'll use those. But you can kind of look some of these up on your own, including Erasma and Kahoot. I think you'll enjoy Kahoot. It's a fun way to learn and a fun game that we can play in class as a way to review. So when you get a chance, go research these a little bit on your own. Much like the great civilizations like the Romans, as you see here, a picture of the Colosseum, we're going to work hard and we're going to work together to study world history and we're going to creatively reconstruct world history. To me, as your teacher, history is a story, and we've got to find ways to build that story together and look at what happened, why it happened, and why it's so important to us still today. Homework is going to be a little bit different in my class, both for the sixth grade social studies and seventh grade social studies. We'll have what's called a flipped lesson often. And by often, that means maybe once a week, up to about three times per week. I'll tell you a little bit more in details. What does it mean to have a flipped lesson? It means that we're going to have lecture slash notes as your homework using video resources, much like this video here. And then when you come into class, we'll have more activities that will be taken up for a grade that will allow you to have more time in class to apply much of the knowledge that you learn at home with some of these short videos. Now, will we have lecture time and presentation time in class? Absolutely. But one of the goals is to try to put the learning to where we can all do it together, applying our skills with our class time. All right, this is for you and your parents. I'm a firm believer that the use of technology is important. I don't believe it replaces all in education, especially the teachers. I do want to teach students how to use technology, and I want to use social studies as kind of the content that drives that. Obviously, I have a passion for social studies. I love teaching social studies, but I also believe that part of my goal as a teacher is to help prepare students for both college and career readiness. And a big part of that is integrating technology. So, this first week of school, there will be a parent technology letter that's going home. Please look over it, sign it, send it with your student. If you have any questions, I've got my email address here, and I would be more than happy to respond to those. All right, so in conclusion, what are my goals for this year? I want to facilitate creative thought and engage the students in problem solving skills. I want to increase their knowledge and awareness of world history and cultures. I want to increase their use of technology as a resource for education. I also want to create an environment driven to promote success for all students. The ideas behind our class this year is going to be to promote collaborative success, individual success, but also an environment in which all students feel comfortable and are able to learn.